I'd like to thank everyone for coming out today to hear this historic announcement by a bold and enthusiastic candidate who has been out there in the streets and a true activist and revolutionary in the city of St. Louis. She was born here, and she has been in several neighborhoods. However, she understands that the problems of the Third Ward are the problems of St. Louis. So I don't want to take any of her thunder. She has done so many things. She is the president of the International People's Democratic Uhuru Movement. She started Uzi, a fashion design for that organization. She is sitting on the Central Committee of the African People's Socialist Party. She's done so many things, it's just hard to count. But her life story is a story of survival and triumph. And I'm really proud. My name is Chimarenga Waller. I'm really proud to be the campaign manager for Herdosia Kalambayi Bentum. And this is going to be her big day. She'll say some things about how special it is, and we really look forward to hearing from Herdosia Kalambayi Bentum. So with no further ado, I want to bring up the next Ward 3 Alderman with your help, Herdosia Kalambayi Bentum.
My name is Herdosia Kalambayi Bentum, and I am running for the 3rd Ward Alderperson. And I want to express my deepest appreciation for all my family, my friends, and supporters. I want to extend my appreciation to the media that's here today, and you that's watching through whatever platform that you're watching is on as well. I want to start off by just saying that I'm just this African woman, this black girl from St. Louis, Missouri. I grew up all over St. Louis because we lived in every ward. And I just really want to, appreciate my upbringing. I want to appreciate my mother and father that were married for over 50 years, that raised me. My mother, Ollie Washington, and my father, Eric Washington, that could not be here because I lost him earlier this year in April during the coronavirus. But I know that his spirit rests on me today. I grew up, and as Chimaranga said, my story is not significant. I just want to say that. My story is the people's story. It's the real tales of the hood. My mom had 3 sons and 2 daughters. In 95, I lost my brother. In 97, I lost another one. In 92, the youngest of them all had went to prison before he was even 19 years old and spent over 20 years, consecutive years, in penitentiary. My father was a veteran, a postman, and even served on the police force at one period of time. My mom was an evangelist in the Church of God in Christ and raised me in the church. But this did not stop the crimes that happened to us constantly in our communities. And that's the crimes of the petty bourgeoisie and the ruling class that afflicts our community very difficult and make our community tell us that we are the problem. But we're not. The people in the 3rd Ward, the people on the north side are good people. I am one of them. I grew up and went to Parkway North High School. And when I graduated from high school, from Parkway North with my diploma in one hand and scholarships and rewards in another hand, but I also walked out of that school barely knowing how to read. So that's why I'm fighting today, because I never, ever gave up. And I heard the word no more than I ever heard yes. I have been hit with so many triumph stories in my life and the people around me life, and that's why I fight today. The struggle is real. My opponent family have been in power in the 3rd Ward for over 40 years. But the only thing that they have seemed to do is build an empire for their family. Right now, the location that I'm standing at is a school that's been shut down since 2004, where we have a school desert, and we hear no outcries from the people of power that have the power to do anything. But the only thing that they know is to tell us is what they can't do. Well, it's time for the can't do people to move out the way so the can do people can rise and stand up and fight back.
Yes.
I am the people. I am not the politician. I'm an activist. I am a black woman that's sick and tired of being sick and tired, and I'm sick and tired of people telling me what I cannot do. And I'm willing to take on the fight by any means necessary for my people, for all of my people, not a sector of the community, but the whole community. The poor, the workers, the peasants, everybody in the 3rd Ward, and for that matter, the whole North Side. On my platform, the first thing that has to be one, that we have to understand, because I grew up with faith. And faith is in, even when you cannot see it, when they tell you no, that it's not possible, you believe that it's right when you're righteous. And it's a righteous demand to say that we demand reparations. Reparations to the black community. We will not only make this a household word, we will make this a reality together. It looks like the LRA process, a land bank of, they just collect this land from people in our community that lost their houses, they took their homes, family members died, couldn't come back and get it, and now they take these and push us completely out of this process. And I said, no more on our watch. We say the LRA is reparations to the black community. Clean up our alleys. In 2020, we still saying clean up our alleys? Well, if you can't do it, we will. We plan to build a whole apparatus in the sanitation department that create jobs just to clean up the alleys. We need jobs, and the worst crime to humanity is poverty. The worst crime to humanity is poverty. We all understand that. And the poverty that we see in our community was not created by us, by the ruling class, by the politicians that only work to put money in their pockets. So we say that when we address the issues in our community amongst ourselves, what they call black on black crime, we call it horizontal violence. And we have to have an initiative where we could come together, where we have a board in the 3rd Ward. People in our community, no more somebody that don't live in your community talking about what happened, but the people in this community have power to say that we will be able to listen to the case, that we can come to a mediation amongst ourselves. We create jobs in our community. And I just want to say that one of the things that I have done in this community all over St. Louis is really understand the 28 wards. We have 28 wards right here in the city of St. Louis. And the people that I'm running against, my opponent, and other people sat back and let this happen. I don't care if you wasn't there when it initially started. The minute you got down there, you should have been fighting, kicking, screaming, knocking on doors, letting somebody know that they are trying to cut these wards to 14, and that is an attack against the black community, not just your job. Because it will be that much harder for someone like me to run for office, someone that has a stake, Someone that knows what it feels like to not have enough money to pay the bills. Someone that knows what it feels like to be worried and concerned about my son when he walks out the house. It's time. It's time for the African working class. It's time for the black community, the poor workers of this community, to stand up and let our voices be heard. It's time for us to go down there in the Board of Alderman room and say, no, you're not going to just continue to talk about our situation and do nothing but pocket your pockets. Move out the way to the big developers. The African working class must lead, and I am up for the task. I say revolutionary times.
Revolutionary solutions.
Revolutionary times.
Revolutionary solutions.
Revolutionary times.
Revolutionary solutions.
Revolution means change. It's time for a change. Another thing that's on my platform is we got to put term limits. No longer will one family dominate a war for 40 plus years, and 30% of the population is gone by using the eminent domain in some areas, helping people like Paul McKee, a crooked person, buy up our community and give it to the NGA and tell us that that's jobs when nobody in our community can get those jobs. Time out. Your time is out. And the people say that revolutionary times.
Revolutionary solutions.
Revolutionary times.
Revolutionary solutions.
With your support, I will be your next 3rd Ward Alderwoman. My name is Herdosia Kalambayi Bentum. Uhuru.
Well, you can see why I do not want to speak after Kalambayi. So, well, somebody asked you, it won't be me. So, I want to call up some of our supporters. And first on our list is Adisa Dukobo. She's a longtime friend of Kalambayi. Each of our speakers is going to have 3 minutes to speak. And I see more of them have arrived, so I'll be calling them as we complete one speaker. I'll come back up and introduce the next one. So right now I want to call up Adisa Dukobo.
Good morning, everyone. Herdosia Kalambayi Bentum has many great qualities. She is a fierce fighter for what is right. She's honest and sincere, and most of all, she's a great leader. She's unapologetic about getting the real work done in the community of the 3rd Ward. I remember in the beginning of 2020, she said that 2020 was the year of perfect vision. And I do think we all, as of now, has had a lot of clarity this year. So I predict that 2021 will be out with the old and in with the new.
Yes.
Elect Herdosia Kalambayi Bentum for 3rd Ward Alderwoman because she is the best and the only choice for the job.
Thank you, Adisa. So I want to call up Jordan Fly. I understand Jordan grew up with Kalambayi, and I just told him a few minutes ago that he looked like Jesus. So he may have come back. I want Jordan Fly to come up and say a few words.
Uhuru. I am so excited to be here right now. I'm so excited for Kalambayi. And just going back into just knowing her from childhood, just knowing and being around her has always been leadership skills. She's always have figured out some way to lead. When she got into the organization, I really started to see her change and develop into becoming a more powerful leader, as I should say. She means what she says. She's a great parent, as well as a friend. And I just would like to say, and I just would like everyone to make sure that they make the right choice and vote for Herdosia Kalambayi Bentum. Thank you.
Thank you, Joey. So I want to call up someone I just recently, Aretha Baker, Kalambayi cousins. So I'm going to call up Kiki to say a few words about Kalambayi.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Man, good morning. I'm going to say God bless everybody this morning. Amen. Because it's in Him that we move, that we breathe, and we have our being. So I want to give Him honor first on this morning. And I just want to say that I am so proud of my niece, Herdosia Kalambayi Bentum, which I call her Peaches, because she's my Peaches. So everybody can call her Peaches. But I am so proud of what she's doing. Everything that she has ever done, she has tackled it with enthusiasm, with tenacity, and her whole heart is into it. And when she told me she was going to run, I said, "You ready?" I said, "You sure you're ready?" I said, "Because they're going to try to dig up things and throw mud." But I just want to say, if you want to throw mud, don't get it in your own eyes, because you got some dirt too. So she's running with a purpose. She's running for the people. And the people in the 3rd Ward, you all are blessed to have her. You know, she has been all over traveling. She's the president of the EPITA movement. And man, I am just so proud of her. I'm proud to call her my niece. I'm proud of what she's doing. And I just want to tell her that she's trying to be the change that she wants to see. And that's what's important. When you want to change, then you have to be the change. You have to get in the trenches. If you're really serious about what you're saying, you have to get in the trenches and just don't talk about it, but be about it. And I just want to say on this morning that until my niece, keep on keeping on. You got this, girl. You got this. And you got this. Don't worry about those 40 years. Those 40 years don't mean nothing. When you put everything in the hands of God, they don't mean nothing. Because we have seen a lot of things tumble and fall. And 40 years can fall just like that. So don't worry about your opponent, because you got this, Kalambayi. Ward 3, y'all can lift y'all hands, because you all are blessed to have an alderman woman like Kalambayi, Herdosia Kalambayi Bentum.
Yes.
Uhuru. Want to appreciate Aretha for that presentation. At this time, I'm going to call up the President General of the Universal African People's Organization. His name is Aki Baruti, and I really want to appreciate his support. He has an organization behind him, and I think that really means something in terms of getting support in the community. So I want to call up Zaki Baruti.
Uhuru. I'm here because of the strong message that's getting ready to be sent out by Kalambayi. And that message is revolutionary times, revolutionary solutions. We are in a real defining point in the history of our country and internationally and locally. I'm here in support of Kalambayi because as she so eloquently articulated the positions that impact our people I support that concept that there ought to be term limits. I support that concept that we have to go after the LRA. I support the thing that we got to have clean alleys and clean communities. Kalambayi is a breath of fresh air.
Yes.
Our people need fresh air. So the challenge for a freedom-loving people who stand behind me, let's understand that the task of electing her won't be easy. So if you're real serious, you don't have to touch every home in the 3rd Ward. I just want to challenge you on that. Because the state and the lives of our young people and our elderly is on the line. When you look, and she just pointed it out, we're in front of a vacant building that at one time was thriving with young people going to the school. If we had a few, less than a mile, I believe, where you had Beaumont High School thriving, that's no longer. So the question becomes, as revolutionaries and as people, do we allow death to continue in our community? Do we allow gentrification to continue in our community? And that's why I stand proudly with the sister, because she walks in the spirit of Fannie Lou Hamer, who said, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. She walks in the spirit of Jesus, because she's been there, a spiritual person. What more does the community need? I say they need Kalambayi Bentum as the next alderperson in the 3rd Ward.
Yes.
Yeah, that was really inspiring. I want to appreciate President General Zaki Baru. So at this time, I want to call up Tachara Masimba. He is a warrior in the city of St. Louis. He's been involved in a lot of economic development work. And I want to call him up to say a few words about Herdosia Kalambayi Bentum. Uhuru.
All right, Uhuru.
Uhuru.
All right, as was stated, my name is Tachara Masimba, and I'm a person who was introduced to Herdosia Kalambayi Bentum while she was on the front lines. Herdosia Kalambayi Bentum, known affectionately as Kalambayi, has adopted the campaign slogan, Revolutionary Times,
Revolutionary solutions.
because this slogan expresses her commitment and long-time track record of rebuilding this abandoned community and rebuilding the city so that it can become a place where people can live a life of dignity and prosperity. She has been bold enough to say out loud and unapologetically that any possibility of a life of dignity and prosperity for this community can exist only when the Black community is able to build an economy that we control, where our schools have funding to hire and train teachers and create a curriculum that reflects our own history, and where our community receives the same services other communities receive so that we can demolish, board up, and rebuild abandoned homes. We can maintain vacant lots and clean up infested alleyways. Revolutionary times, revolutionary solutions means that Herdosia Kalambayi Bentum will not allow those in office to continue to do business as usual. The people are demanding change, and she is the one who will fight to bring this about. She will no longer accept the entrenched family dynasties where political seats are passed from father to son and held in one family for 3 and 4 and 5 decades, while they do nothing for the people except campaign every few years. Herdosia Kalambayi Bentum is the only person running for office who is capable of saying that any possibility of widespread dignity and prosperity for this community and beyond must rest on a platform of reparations to the Black community. St. Louis City cannot continue to build an economy based on the theft of land from the Black community. by entities like the Land Reutilization Authority, or the LRA, which holds in a land bank tens of thousands of homes and properties stolen from the Black community, or like the National Geospatial Spy Agency, which has taken 1,000 acres from the Black community right here in North St. Louis in the past year. Herdosia Kalambayi Bentum has stood up against this. She has fought the greedy developers and corrupt politicians and their political dynasties. She has fought for the most oppressed sectors of our community, and she has said that all of the problems in the Black community stem from poverty imposed on us from a system that bleeds us, and that any genuine attempt to solve the problems of horizontal or Black-on-Black violence must begin with the commitment to create jobs, generate wealth, build business opportunity, and ensure decent and affordable housing, good schools, a clean community, and a politically conscious Black community with principled allies. Herdosia Kalambayi will not cower. She will not sell out. She will bring resources to the Third Ward. She will unite the disenchanted youth, and she will lead a movement to overturn the status quo and build a community of dignity and prosperity. Please vote March 2nd for Herdosia Kalambayi Bentum for alderperson of the Third Ward of the City of St. Louis. Uhuru.
Uhuru!
So I want to call up a very special person to Kalambayi. Her mother is here, so I might have to take the microphone off and let her speak.
Thank you. Forgive me for being late, but I sure was trying to get here. Because this is a worthy thing and a worthy person that is ready for this position of Ward number 3, Kalambayi. I say that name wrong, so y'all get y'all a good smile. But she's peaches to me. She's a fighter, she's a worker, she's a believer, and she's an honest person that we need in this area. We got too many vacant lots, too many schools closed down, too many of everything, not even a grocery store. Finally put that Aldi over there on Natural Bridge, closed the grocery store down here on Lee. So we need Kalambayi to bring us to a revolution time. It is now time to get busy. This lot should be running over this morning. It should be every young person, every mother, every age person, every age father. We ought to be out here this morning. Vote for Kalambayi to fix this ward up. It's all right putting these things down in the middle of the street. It's just going to bring some more death, some more hot rods. It gets serious about some serious things that we need down in this area, our neighborhood, to look. This is not the hood. As I told my daughter, this ain't no hood. This is a community. This is our home. Don't call me no hood. A hood is down in the woods somewhere. This is a neighborhood. This was beautiful to come across Grand when I was coming up. I thought I was going somewhere, and I was just coming across San Valley. But look at us now, how they tearing our neighborhood, letting our homes look like anything, our place of business look like anything. Some of these places of business, you won't want to walk in the inside of it. So get somebody that's honest, not filling their pockets up with the money changers and everything. You want somebody to put somebody into your community. So vote for Miss Bentum. Vote.
Yeah, mama! Yes!
Revolutionary solution. Well, the next time I won't speak after Ms. Washington. That's a tough act to follow. Before I ask for questions from the media, I want to give our candidates something. It's her 41st birthday.
Happy birthday!
I wanted to surprise her. She didn't know I was going to get her anything.
I'm surprised.
So I wanted to get a small gift to show how much appreciation I have. And she's growing in her confidence every day.
Revolutionary times.
Revolutionary solutions.
Revolutionary times.
Revolutionary solutions.
I just, again, want to express my deepest appreciation for my family, my friends, and supporters, and the media that's here. I don't take this lightly. I didn't just wake up one morning and decide that I wanted to run for office. But I won't change. And I am sick and tired of watching the news and seeing what's happening in our community. And I'm tired of going down there to the board of all the people for them to tell me what they can't do. So I say, if you can't do it, then I will. Send me, I will go. And I want you to hold me accountable. I need you. This is not a one-person job. This is us. We have to fight for our community. We have to fight for our young people. We have to say no more young people are going to graduate from high school or drop out of high school and don't know how to read. Not on our watch. We have to say we are not going to continue to live in food deserts. We are not going to continue to deal with politicians that only work with big developers and would not help the common person that's trying to build their community up. But this don't happen unless we get out and we vote and we knock doors and we help the people to understand that it is time. It is time. It is our time to make a difference. And it's not going to happen because you just want it to happen. It's going to happen because you make it happen. One of my favorite scriptures is faith without works is dead. If you have faith in something, and I have all the faith in my community, I have all the faith in myself. But if I don't work towards it, it won't happen. If we don't work towards it, it won't happen. So I'm not the adequate one, but I am the hard-working one. This is a fight a bit against the haves and the have-nots. But the have-nots say that I'm here and I'm standing 10 toes down. I'm in these streets and I'm not going to give up. And I just want to appreciate Eric Vaughn Washington for being my father, for showing me what it means to never, ever surrender, no matter what. And I plan to make him very, very proud to continue on doing what I have been taught to do. So I appreciate my leadership too. I can't walk away from this stage without saying it. I appreciate you, Chairman Amalia Shatella, for coming August 9th. Because truly, when Mike Brown died, I was birthed, Kalambayi, to really help me to understand science on what I can do to actually really make sure that African people, black people, the 3rd Ward in the whole North Side, black people all over. This is not just a campaign for St. Louis. But a girl from Walnut Port, a girl of my stature, never supposed to be running for office. This is unheard of. But we here. And I appreciate you all that have supported me, and I appreciate the ones that's going to support me. We're going to take this fight on, and we won't give up. Revolutionary times.
Revolutionary solutions.
Revolutionary times.
Revolutionary solutions.
Uhuru.
Uhuru.
So at this time, I'm going to take questions from the media, and Kalambayi can answer those questions. Is any questions from the media? Well, I would like Kalambayi to. There you go.
Real STL News.
Okay.
So as your first order of business, when you jump in that seat, do you have a plan for the first 100 days that you're in that role to clean up your community?
Yes. So on my platform, the first order of business is reparations to the black community. Like, this is not something up for debate. All of us agree and see that the crimes that have been committed against the black community, such as redlining, using eminent domain to give Paul McKee more property, in our community, our schools being shut down, us not having access to the LRA process unless you're a big developer, and the pushback that politicians have played in decades. This is, and I'm just speaking on things that just have happened in the last 10 years, but we could go deeper than that with the questions of reparations. So I do plan to fight for reparations, and reparations look like Black people, the people of the community, every ward having somebody on the board of all the people that decides who get LAR properties. That we have to really revamp what that process look like. Because what we have right now is something designed to make sure that the workers won't be able to gain access to buying an LRA process from the paperwork, etc. They do a great job for you to not even be able to do this. So we have to revamp that so we can allow people to be able to gain access to our own communities. So that's one. Two, our alleys. These alleys are horrible. They are horrible, and we pay taxes. Everybody in the city, and actually Proposition P that my accomplice pushed for was an additional tax on the people for the alleys that don't get cleaned up. So we're saying that we need jobs. We have to create jobs. So when we talk about horizontal violence, well, we know one of the worst crimes to humanity is poverty. So we create jobs and give people jobs, then we decrease on crime. So we're going to create a process to clean up the alleys by having in the sanitation department a whole unit. The only thing they do is clean alleys. This is going to provide jobs. Keep 28, definitely, they have really played a number on us with the 28 wards. We still find people that live in the city that don't even know that the wards are going to be cut. And some people say, why would we even care? Because all the people wasn't doing nothing anyway. Well, we have to care because this is an attack against the Black community, because it will cost twice as much. You don't know how many hula hoops I jumped through to stand here today to say that I'm announcing for Alderperson. I mean, it's so many loops, hoops, this loop, because they never attend for workers to actually be engaged in struggling and fighting for their own community. So if they cut them wards, the big developers are going to push gentrification and continue to gentrify the city even more by cutting the wards from 28. So I have to take on that fight to fight for the 28 wards as well, putting it back on the ballot. So these are just some of the initiatives, and that's going to keep me real busy right there.
More than 100 days.
Yes.
All right, and I have another question. At some point within this year, or maybe even last year, there was a call for the National Guards to address some of our crime issues. Again, a poverty-stricken community is known to have a lot of crime. What is your plan?
It's not to call the National Guards. It's not to call the National Guards. See, I think that we have to get to the core contradiction. You could be on the surface and talk about crime, and you could come to crazy conclusions by calling the National Guards into your own community. One person that you once say that these people are against you, but then you will ask your enemy to come in and police you if you don't get to the core contradiction. Well, I have a stake in this fight. As I said earlier, I lost 2 brothers to what we call horizontal violence. It is a lot of who I am today, but I want to go to the core of it. The worst crime is poverty, and nobody in my community have a plane to bring dope here. But during the coronavirus, when we couldn't get paper towels and hand sanitizer, you could get all the dope you can. So the White House is the crack house, and Uncle Sam is the real pusher man. So when we talk about crime, we got to get to the core of the crime, and we have to create jobs, and we have to have work programs, and we have to have a way for when our brothers and sisters get out of these prisons, that they have a way to come back into society with a place to stay, feed, clothe, and house our own. But we can come to those conclusions ourselves, but somebody that works for big developers, such as my opponent, never come to those conclusions. They will continue to ask their enemy to come in and police them.
And our last question. For the people who are comfortable with the ward being as it is in the leadership, why should we honor and elect you as a new leader of the company? You know, the company of taking this to a greater place. Why should we elect you?
I say to everybody that is comfortable with the way the third ward look, it's time to stop being complacent. Because you must then open your eyes and look. Really, truly. This is not about popularity. This is not about who's cute or who wear a nice suit. This is about life or death. This is about putting somebody in a position to carry out the task, to create a new time for us so our kids have a future. And if 43 years your family haven't figured out how to do that, then bail out so somebody can.
Is there any other questions from the media?
Thank you, Kalambayi. So I want to thank everybody for coming. The community, I see people came up and wanted to hear what you had to say, and I thought it was very impactful and powerful. I want to thank the media for coming up, Real St. Louis News, and I want to thank the city of St. Louis for what they're going to do on March the 2nd. And that means they're going to elect a bold new vision for St. Louis, and that's going to be Herdosia, Kalambayi, Bentum. So I want to thank everybody for coming, and we're going to close out the press conference.
Revolutionary times.
Revolutionary solutions.
Revolutionary times.
Revolutionary solutions.
Touch one.
Touch all.
Touch one.
Touch all.
Touch one.
Touch all.
Fist stop.
Fight back.
Fist stop.
Fight back.
This is what fight back look like. It's not just protesting, but it's going to the next level. To take our community back in our own hands and working together. Because unity, black people that's united could never be defeated. Black people united
Will never be defeated.
Black people united
Will never be defeated.
and we are united. That this is a revolutionary time that we live in. And it's going to take revolutionary solutions to solve our issues in our community. And we the people, we can do it.